Well, hello there friends. Thanks for clicking on this video. And as the title is saying, so while it's too cold to go out there and shoot, I figured that I would stay in the house where it's nice and warm. It's even too cold to go out into my workshop right now. So I thought what I would do would work on replacing the front pin sight of my 1862 Pocket Navy. But before I get into doing this, past couple of days I've had the opportunity to record some more deer feeding at my alfalfa bale, and I thought it was funny. I took the longer version of it and condensed it down to about 2.5 minutes. So if you don't want to watch it, just scroll through past the deer. But what I found interesting is that originally the smaller buck came in all by himself, and then here comes the doe, then here comes the second doe, and within a short amount of time here comes the dominant buck. He's not the big one hanging around here, but he's one of the two dominant bucks, and it was funny just to watch how the smaller buck and the bigger buck reacted among each other. So just enjoy this for the next couple of minutes, and I'll get back to working on the revolver. So I hope you found that as humorous to watch as I did. Now, as I've mentioned before, friends, these small pocket pistols are not really made or designed for target practicing. They're just basically for up close work, self-defense. But you know, if you go back and watch the shooting video that I did on this originally, you'll see that this gun shot about 14 inches too high. So I have to replace the front pin and or grind down the rear sight. And with the 14 inches or 14.5 inches that I'm having to deal with, I think I'm going to have to deal with both the front sight and the rear sight. Now, when I worked on the pheasant farm, a lot of our, well, every pen that had pheasant in them had multiple water floats, those like a swamp cooler float, and after bending them so many times to straighten them back out so that they would work instead of overflow, a lot of times they would end up breaking, and I've got maybe 200-300 of these things sitting in a container right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a new post for this revolver, and I'm going to make it a round post. It's obviously going to be taller, but I've already tried taking a pair of pliers, and I determined that this front post is not threaded in there. I'm pretty sure at this point that it's pressure fitted. So what I'm going to do is put some tape over it, and then I'm going to file it down so I can see just how big the hole is that this post sits in. So let me get that accomplished, and I'll get right back at you. Okay, I'm starting to get into the tape just a little bit, so I'm pretty close to where I need to be. Now I'm going to take a Dremel tool with a small bit and try to grind the rest of that out. Alright, I have the hole cleaned out. Yeah, I got just a couple little nicks right here, but obviously some touch-up glue will fix that. The piece that I have, I'm going to start with a piece of that brass that's 1 inch long. I'm going to chuck it in my drill, and what I'm going to aim to do is to taper it. And when I get it tapered sufficiently, then I'm going to try to insert it into the hole. And if the taper is too steep, then I'll file off the bottom of it until this gets fitted just perfect. And if I can press it in, then I'm going to stick with pressing it. If not, then I will JB weld it in place. But I'm starting out with a 1 inch long piece so that I can have you know, some metal to work with to get that taper into it. When I get that taper in here, obviously I'll turn the camera back on and I'll show everybody. I just kind of want to show you the technique that I'm using. I have a small file, so I engage the drill. I actually file as the drill is spinning. Now I know where approximately I need to be. I cannot get a depth. Usually when you want to figure out the depth of a hole, you use this portion right here of your depth gauge. And then you just set that in until it bottoms out the hole, and then that tells you up here on the dial how deep you need to go. And unfortunately, because that hole is smaller then this portion of the depth gauge right here, I can't get it in there. So the best that I can do is kind of like hold it on the outside and kind of look at it. It's 0.110 thousandths or 110 thousandths. And I'm kind of guessing in reality it's just 0.100. But I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing, occasionally stop and mic where I'm at, and when I get close then I'll take it off and see if I can fit it into the hole. So I'm going to keep at it and see what the end results will be. And if for some reason I do mess up, well, I'll just cut some more stock and start over. I think you can appreciate why I am comfortably doing this inside. It's pretty nasty out there right now. So just in case anybody's curious, I was able to finish digging out the brass with my carbide tip scratching pen here, and the barrel is not threaded, at least in this one. So that tells me the front sight was obviously pressed in. But I'm going to keep working at it. As you can tell, this is actually the second pile of brass that I've cleaned off this table. I'm getting close, but I'm not there yet. Well, there's the piece, and hopefully you can see that there's a little series of steps. This is where I had it chucked into the drill, and then this is when I thought, well, it's a little bit too tall, so then I started cutting right here, and then this is probably where I'm going to end up with a final height. And there again, this is just guesswork. You know, like I showed in the previous video, I'm shooting 14.5 inches too high, or maybe 14 inches too high. So anything that comes off the barrel is going to help. But just imagine, I'm going to try to insert this into the barrel and kind of give you guys a visual. This is where I'm going to cut it. It'll kind of give you a visual as how high that's going to set up. Let me see if I can get that stuck in there. Well, maybe not. So let me do it like this. Hopefully you can see where I'm going to cut it off and how high that's going to be. I think that's going to give me plenty of front sight to work with. There again, if I can get this sighted in to shoot pretty good at 10 yards, I'm happy with it. I don't have to be shooting 16 yards where I normally do. I just want to be able to get this, you know, more than just close up and personal. I want to get it, you know, maybe 10 yards behind my target, or in front of my target, I should say. So I'm going to get work cutting that off, and then I'm going to just hammer it a little bit in, because I can feel that there's just a little bit of resistance right there, and I'll probably still put some JB weld in it. But that's where I'm at right now. Well, as you can see, I have the front sight installed into the gun barrel. I have it sitting here in the back bedroom in the sun. Letting the sun come through the bedroom window is going to warm up that barrel and hopefully expedite the hardening of the JB weld. I did insert the barrel onto the receiver, cock the hammer, and the sight looks like it's pretty doggone straight. It is fat, and I wanted it fat because if I have to file off one side of it as opposed to the other, then that'll help with the windage, and obviously I can further adjust that windage with the rear sight also. So hopefully the next time you see this gun, I'll have it out on the shooting range. There again, like I've said in the past, I don't like doing too much with the sights until I get about 100 shots through it. I've got about 50 shots through it now, but it's pretty obvious that the front sight needed to be a lot higher. And I don't know if I've mentioned it, but even if, you know, this front sight can get me to hit the target, say like at 10, 12 yards, that's great. I'm not looking to really pinpoint anything at 16 yards because here again, these particular guns are made for up close personal work. But there again, how many of us really carry these for self-defense? So more likely this will just be a target shooting gun. So thanks for watching. Hope everybody will have a wonderful day and a wonderful week. Don't forget to like and subscribe and to share this with your bestest of buddies. Bye.